Empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Hey guys, welcome to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister, and we have Kevin Wilson with us.
Hello.
Hey Kevin, how's it going?
Oh, living the dream. You know.
Living the dream. Yeah. Absolutely. So, today is Tuesday, which is our talk of the town, and man, do we have a lot of things to talk about today. Kevin, where do you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of stuff going on in Rochester. The news broke this morning too that the local Black Lives Matter. Oh, I guess it broke last night. I wasn't paying attention. I was going to bed early for once, which is surprising. All the protesters occupying City Hall decided to go home. And they said just because they were starting to make some progress and they needed to take care of themselves. People have pointed out, possibly rightly, that the lows are in the 30s last night, so that might have had something to do with it too. It was getting a bit chilly,
Sure.
Starting to feel like fall. But the group Free the People Rock put out saying like the Attorney General came into town on Sunday and talked about they're now going to be releasing body cam footage of police brutality cases directly to the public. They're also going to tell the public when a case is turned over to them immediately instead of relying on local officials to do that. What do you think of that, Andrew? You think that's a good idea? Is that something that the state attorney general should be doing moving forward?
Yeah, I think that transparency is always key. So in the event that so they're saying when footage comes to the attorney general, then they will release it and be transparent. Is that a good translation of what's happening?
As I understand it, yeah. So the attorney general, Tish James, said that in police brutality cases, right? So it's not every piece of body cam footage, but in police brutality cases, cases like Daniel Prude, where someone dies in police custody and as a result of police action, which right now DAs are required to turn that over to the Attorney General for prosecution anyway. So now whenever they get that case, they're going to announce that it happened and that they are taking the case on publicly.
Yeah, I think that part of the issue that we're facing here in Rochester is people are very, very upset with the fact that they feel that government officials purposely hid this from them. And don't get me wrong, I've seen the footage, I've seen the situation. It's very bad. It's graphic. All of these things. People were going to be upset either way, just watching the footage, seeing the situation. But I think what's really aggravated the situation is that there is this feeling among people that this was purposely hidden by the police, that this was purposely hidden by the mayor. City council is saying like they had no idea. The mayor is saying she didn't know, but people think that that's not true. Which, speaking of which, did we ever get confirmation that she did in fact know, or is that something we're still not sure about?
Yeah, there's no confirmation of that. Again, what we talked about last week was that Laurent Singletary said that the mayor was informed, the mayor was in the loop, and that certainly the communication staff and the legal staff was in the loop, but may or may not have let the mayor know that they could have been selective about the type of documents that were released. And so that's why Rochester City Council has now funded an independent investigation of this whole Daniel Prude thing and whether or not they were covering everything up in a way that was illegal or inappropriate.
Yeah. So I think in general, and in terms of what they're talking about and making changes, I believe that if if you are in a situation where something bad has happened and the public should be aware, there should be transparency there. I've actually often talked about how I've got kind of an issue with the way body cam footage is handled currently, because if you don't request that body cam footage to be saved within, I think it's 10 business days, it's just like permanently deleted. And if you're not aware of that, it might be 30 business days. It actually might be even jurisdiction by jurisdiction. But if you don't know,
we should look that up. So we should look that up.
yeah, well, because I was a part of one case where the footage was deleted before the request was received. So it may vary county by county or department by department. But if you don't request that footage, it gets deleted. And I understand there's storage concerns and things along those lines, but I don't think that that's a good policy. I think that's a really bad policy. And I do believe that if, at the very minimum, if you were involved in any type of police interaction, you should be able to very easily get a link to that police interaction and be able to watch it and have access to it without having to go through a detailed, long official process where you need to make a FOIL request or something like that. It's actually pretty difficult to get a police report. A couple of years ago, I had to get a police report about something that had happened, and it was hard to find somebody who could even give me that report. I had to purchase the report. I had to wait like X amount of days beyond my request for the report. And it's kind of like, you mean I can't just access this in some like online portal? It can't just be a PDF emailed to me? The process itself was very bad and very difficult, and I was the one that filed the report. you know, I was the one that called the cops, and I couldn't even get a copy of my police report. So
hold on, can I introduce a radical idea?
I'm down for this.
Great. Should police reports be handled? Would it be more appropriate to have them handled by like a private company? Like instead of going through the police, you know, you go through like an arm of an insurance agency or something like that. And do you think customer service would improve in that situation compared to working through local police departments?
You mean the storage of the reports or the writing of them? Give me an example.
But both, all of it, right? You know, like, so I'll give you an example. I had someone throw a brick through my window, like last week.
Yep.
I don't think it was anything politically motivated. I think it was just people being jerks, right? You know, but I had to called the police, and I called 311 in this case, asked to file a report. Took me 20 minutes to get through to someone, and I asked if I could email my security footage video to be attached to the report, and they said, well, we can't do that over the phone. You know, we'll send someone out within the next week. They never showed up.
Yep.
So I never got
Typical.
anyone. So I'm wondering, you know, like, could I call like my insurance company and make a report through there and have that be valid and, you know, not have it penalize me in any way? And would that be a better way to make legally appropriate reports instead of having everything run through the police? And then that frees up police resources to do other things.
Yeah, you know, I would be open to it for sure. Like if a standard was created for organizations to be able to create police reports, and they went through whatever training and whatever else they need to be able to create those reports, I don't see why not. In fact, what you would probably find is you'd find law enforcement officers when they retire, and many of them move on to a second job in security or something like that, they would probably move into that private sector and then be the person from the insurance company or whoever it is that shows up and handles your report for you.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, you know, I've got to call, go spend another 20 minutes on the phone, and maybe I'll have someone show up in, you know, another week. Who knows? You know, it's now been a few weeks since this happened. You know, it's bad customer service. And in a private company, I'd be like, well, shoot, I'm just not going to work with this company anymore. If there are companies that specialized in just filing police reports, you know, maybe that would make more sense. This is how we can, let's see if we can find a word that won't scare people, because it's not like defunding the police exactly or privatizing the police, but it is shifting services elsewhere into a market setting that makes more sense. It makes things more efficient and serves people better.
Yeah, and depending on the agency or the company doing that, if you are let's call it a member or a customer of that organization, then chances are they have an app. It's really easy because they don't want to spend their resources either. So, you could probably start the process on an app, similar to AAA. When you got to call a tow, this is like a big picture of a truck on the app. You press it, they get your location, say, do you need a tow truck driver? If so, what's your issue? You answer like 3 questions on the app. They give you a time somebody's going to show up. Good to go. You could attach your footage right there in the app. You could attach pictures, whatever you've got. And then somebody would show up to confirm the validity of it, do their investigation, write up their version of the report, attach it, send it off to the police for you. You already have a copy. The police have a copy. Good to go. I like the sound of that.
Yeah, like obviously, violent cases, stuff like that, sure. Let those be in the hands of police and police investigators. But like small property damage, petty theft, yeah, why can't we do that through a private company?
Yeah. Actually, so we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I'll talk about how we could store all this information in a safe, secure, publicly accessible way, and then we'll do more Talk of the Town. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Escape from the everyday to a getaway at Woodcliff Hotel and Spa. Woodcliff features elegantly appointed accommodations, creative cuisine, themed suites, full-service spa Elan, and is Rochester's best venue for outdoor wedding receptions overlooking the city skyline. Woodcliff Hotel and Spa, where the experience is extraordinary. Located in Fairport, call 585-381-4000 or visit woodcliffhotelspa.com.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
All right. Welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We've got Kevin Wilson with us. And just before we took break, we were talking about this idea of what if you could file your own police report, or maybe there's a third party like your home insurance company or somebody like that that could come and handle creating a police report for you, submit it to the police on your behalf. They would, of course, go through a certain amount of training to make sure that that's appropriate.
And they do this with car accidents too. It's not like it's
Yeah.
an unheard of thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And your insurance company comes out anyways a lot of times for to adjust and analyze the damage to your vehicle, depending on damage to your home, like if it's a fallen tree branch or you have some sort of claim. They come out, they kind of do their own investigation, they create their own report, everything. No, Kevin, I think that's a great idea. I also think that in terms of transparency, we had to do these FOIL requests, and it's just convoluted. I mean, especially in Rochester, there's been a lot of criticism that the mayor's administration has held up certain FOIL requests while releasing others not only on time but early. There's been a lot of controversy about that. I'm sure Rochester's not the only place. I'm sure other people have experienced this across the country.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And I think just government records in general, anything that you could make public via FOIL request should just be public. Why do I have to request access to public information if it's public information? It seems very counterintuitive and very inefficient to me.
No, that's a great point. That stuff should be open most of the time. Just I would like to see municipalities and the state as well move towards as much transparency as possible. Just make it very easy, and like in some ways, there's a lot of crime data that's now available through the city of Rochester. It's they have some of that out there, but being able to access stuff like this still important, and making sure you're not covering up, actual instances of police brutality, like or a police death in custody at least. Don't cover that up. Makes it look bad. Even if you didn't actually do anything wrong, makes it look like you're trying to hide something.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, you hit a great point. You could be not doing anything wrong at all, but now you've created a situation of distrust where people believe you're doing something wrong because they don't know if you were doing something right, if it was good, if it was okay. Why does it appear that you're hiding it? So there is technology out there that we could do this with. We talk about from time to time. I know it sounds a little complicated. For some people, it sounds scary. But blockchain is a great way to store this information publicly. And once it's stored in the blockchain, you can't ever alter it. So there's no somebody created a record and then later changed it maliciously or anything like that. It's just not possible with the way blockchain technology works. It's extremely secure. It's very robust. This would be a great way to store public information, make it publicly accessible. You could always validate the information has never been changed the way blockchain works. And it's bleeding edge technology. I mean, it works really, really well. Companies every day are trying to figure out how do they leverage blockchain technology to make their companies better, more efficient. If only government was trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to do it without pushing.
Yep.
So either someone's going to need to run and make that part of their platform to introduce blockchain technology into good governance practices, or you're going to need to raise a ruckus about it.
Yep.
But otherwise, they'll be comfortable. Why change things unless they can take credit for saving you because of it?
Yep. And speaking of people taking credit for saving you, it sounds like we're seeing this with the shooting that happened in Rochester, and I know you really wanted to talk about that, Kevin. So I'll just a couple minutes to talk about it, because for those of you who didn't see that, there was a shooting very early Saturday morning. 16 people were shot, 2 people died. All the victims were between the ages of 17 and 23. I guess there was a really big house party or a couple house parties that kind of merged into one another. Some people pulled out guns, and things got tense, and then there's some sort of gunfight that seemed to have happened.
I know the Rochester Police Department's still investigating it. The thing that I wanted to point out that I saw happen, like immediately, like first thing, what I woke up to Saturday morning is people pushing their traditional narratives, whatever they're already pushing, related to this event. So I saw on the Democrat side, immediately, what do you expect? We need more gun control. They don't know what kind of gun was used. They don't know what the circumstances were behind this. Chuck Schumer was one of them. Said, "Oh, this is why we need more gun control." Immediately.
No surprise there.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just a reflex. Oh, someone was shot. Gun control. That's going to fix everything. Taking away the Second Amendment rights, the self-defense rights from law-abiding Americans. That's what's going to solve city violence, which are. It's really, there's a lot of complicated stuff going on, and maybe I'll get to that in a second. And then Republicans, same thing. Woke up to what are they posting about? They're like, see, we shouldn't have defunded the police. Mm-hmm. Guys, the RPD hasn't been defunded yet. They lost their chief, but they still have all the same resources, minus they did end up pulling back funding for the new Goodman section, but that hadn't actually happened yet. But we haven't defunded the police. This is one of the biggest mass shootings in Rochester in a very long time. But there were others, like the Boys and Girls Club one that happened a few years ago.
I remember that.
Yeah. So it's not like these things are unheard of. But shootings are up in the city. I don't think it's related to frustration with the police, which is the narrative that people are trying to push. I think it's probably related to, kind of traditional, desperation, fear, things like that. But again, we don't actually know the answers to that yet. But I'd ask you, like, even if the police were defunded in this situation, how would that have changed things? The police can't possibly be everywhere all at once, and even if they are, like they were with the Parkland shooting, they don't have a duty to intervene, and even if they run away, they're not going to face any criminal charges, and they may still keep their job. The officer in the Parkland shooting, basically no consequences, other than public shame. And that was the school shooting down in Florida, where there's a police officer there. Police officers, again, many of them will go out of their way to stop these things, but they don't necessarily have a duty to do so, and that's held up by the Supreme Court. So, so again, it's not possible that an officer can be everywhere all at once and responding immediately to a situation that happens quickly. And even if they were, it's not necessarily going to make a difference in the immediate term. So
I would also throw in there that I don't believe we want police to be there at every moment. I mean, think about if the police had so much funding that you had a law enforcement officer on every corner of every neighborhood in your life. Like that also, I don't want that.
I don't want a government agent on every single corner watching what I do all the time. It's creepy.
Yep.
No,
yep.
It's not possible. So again, the defunding, like, people talking about how defunding the police led to this, you're being disingenuous and not really seeing the situation for what it is. Again, talking about other things like how does poverty contribute to this, how does mental health contribute to this, what are peacemaking organizations that are doing the work to make sure that if this was motivated by, and I don't know if it was motivated by gang rivalry or if it was motivated by just someone who was dumb and angry and needed help, or is a bad guy who might need to go to jail. I don't know what it is, right? Whatever it is, like, it's not going to come through a nice, simple, clean solution like ban all the guns or we just need more police everywhere. It's not. That's what the politicians want to sell you. But, like, the interactions that are going on in these places, who've seen violence and trauma throughout all their lives, they're complicated, and it's going to take a lot of grassroots work to address those.
And I would throw in there, too, I mean, it's going to be likely, I think, that they find that the firearms used in this were illegal to begin with.
Yep.
So that just shows you how much banning guns really worked to begin with. Spoiler alert, didn't. Gun control does not work, plain and simple. Guys, you are listening to Radio Free New York. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Supreme Court. We'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
God bless America. AM 1040 Avon Rochester, FM 92.1 Rochester, and FM 95.5 Spencerport.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Clear skies, not as cold out there. We'll see temperatures in the 40s and low 50s, so a milder night. Wednesday, a beautiful day, mostly sunny, temperatures up into the mid-70s. Sunshine, then some clouds. Thursday, closer to 80 degrees. Partly sunny on Friday, near 80 degrees as well. I'm Rich Cadelia on WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovation should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
Dear Dr. Sussman.
Dear Dr. Sussman, I just wanted to write to all the wonderful people who work with Dr. Sussman and Dr. Pogel at the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Each person in the office made me feel my smile.
Not only am I completely happy with my smile, but I feel you've been there for me with all my dentistry.
I've had several dentists in my life, but never a dentist of your caliber. You have state-of-the-art.
You keep current in your field as evidenced by your numerous diplomas and certificates, and your entire staff is really the cream
I'm
of the
thrilled with the outcome of your skills and artistry. It's made such a difference in my life.
Dr. Sussman, Dr. Pogel, and the entire staff at the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry take great pride in providing not only advanced dental care, but extraordinary cosmetic dentistry. They love what they do and have a partnership with their patients toward long-term dental health.
For a bright, confident, beautiful smile.
Thank you, Dr. Sussman.
Thank you, Dr. Pogel.
Thank you.
Change your life, change your smile.
For more information, call the Center for Cosmetic Dentistry at 22 Smile or visit 22-smile.com.
Victor Chevrolet welcomes fall with this September special. For a limited time, buy a 2019 Chevy Trax LT all-wheel drive with LT convenience package, power driver's seat, keyless access, and start.
MSRP $26,145.
Buy it for just $19,215. Financing available with approved credit for $229 a month for 84 months.
But it's only while supplies last.
At Victor Chevrolet, we want you to know we're here for your transportation needs. Our factory-trained specialist in the Victor Service Department can expertly handle any repair. Our concierge service can arrange for pickup and delivery of your vehicle if you choose. We are here for repairs, maintenance, inspections, warranty work, and recall. Victor Chevrolet can help no matter where you bought your car or truck. Remember, if you're looking for a pre-owned vehicle, Victor Chevrolet always has a great selection of quality low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs. Give us a call at 869-6196 or visit VictorChevrolet.com. Find new roads at Victor Chevrolet, Route 96 in Victor.
Visit VictorChevrolet.com.
Our community is strong. Even when we can't be together, we stand together as families, neighbors, and local businesses helping each other. As an essential business and community partner, Tompkins is here for you with online and mobile banking, programs to help our lending customers, and peace of mind, knowing that our focus is you. We're here to help you stay strong, get through this, and rebuild. For our customers and for our community, Tompkins Bank of Castile is here.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Dr. Pat Brophy from UR Medicine, Golisano Children's Hospital. When your favorite team wins, it's because they work together. When a medical team saves a life, it's because they put all their skills together. That's why Golisano Children's Hospital is so dedicated to creating a healthy community. It It will give kids in the region access to advanced care, help us do groundbreaking research, and provide top-notch training to the next generation of pediatricians. You can help us do this. So please, give to Golisano Children's Hospital.
At Tom Walls, we use only pure cane sugar in every batch of Tom Walls root beer, never corn syrup. I'm Riley. Let me cook you the best cheeseburger, crispiest fries, and serve you a Tom Walls frosted mug of root beer.
Tom Walls. Fix It via video is recruiting. Are you that guy everyone calls about repair questions? Get paid to help others and discover a new source of side work without packing up your tools. Check out fixitchat.live.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
Welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We have Kevin Wilson with us, and now is the time to talk about the Supreme Court. Kevin, where do we want to start with this?
Yeah, goodness. So, this is really what's been dominating the headlines of all the partisan networks. So I figure this is a good opportunity to discuss the institution as a whole and to just point out the rank hypocrisy that exists both within the Democrat and the Republican parties, because there's a whole lot of that going on right now.
When isn't there, Kevin?
Yeah, no, constantly. But this is another opportunity to point that out, and I never miss that chance.
Yep.
So of course, Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, and she had an interesting, if mixed legacy. So good on some things, not so good on other things. She was certainly, at the very least, a trailblazer for what she did in terms of bringing women into the legal field. So for that, I think that's worthy of respect and admiration. A lot of people are very upset about it because of that, but also because it means that there's an opportunity for President Trump, to fill a third Supreme Court vacancy.
Before we go on that, I think it's definitely worth recognizing she has some really tremendous life accomplishments.
Yes.
That shouldn't be overlooked at all. I mean, whether or not you agree with her politics is one thing, but I'm just like kind of scratching the surface of her life and seeing the things that she's done, and she's a very impressive person, very impressive. So there's actually a movie out about her that I haven't seen it yet, but I probably will watch it, just based on like parts of her, like just her history and her accomplishments. I'm like, wow, this is somebody that, once again, politics aside, I want to know more about her. So it's
for sure.
It's worth emphasizing that.
And I think she went to undergrad at Cornell too. So
yeah, she grew up in New York. Yep.
So, again, her history and her legacy is pretty incredible, just in terms of people who have accomplished a lot in being in a position of her being a woman in the time she was growing up and the time she was breaking into the legal field was incredibly impressive.
Yeah,
again, regardless of how you feel about her politics, what she did was tough, and everything she accomplished leading up to her becoming a Supreme Court justice was admirable. So I'll say that. I'm not going to dig into her case history much this time, because we're going to talk a little bit about politics, which is and a solution to this, because I don't right now. If you turn on any of the major news networks, this is what everyone's talking about, and they're Democrats saying we're going to riot in the streets if Donald Trump appoints a new Supreme Court nominee. Republicans are saying,
we probably believe him at this point, right, Kevin?
Yeah. I think they're going to be true to their word.
Yeah, I think we could probably safely believe them at this point.
They are not bluffing. I mean, I don't know about the people who are like maddest about this are like really like the Hillary Clinton, like older liberals. Yeah. I think that like they're the ones who are most incensed. So they're the ones who are like, yeah, we're gonna join people in the streets with the Molotov cocktails. No, they're not. They're gonna just be mad. Most people ain't gonna. The actual radicals don't really care about the Supreme Court. So I'll tell you, like, having followed a few of them and kind of seeing what they're talking about, they're like, the whole institution is illegitimate, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg was aggressive, and we need to tear the whole system down. That's where they're at.
Sure.
The people who are maddest about President Trump appointing a new Supreme Court justice, they're mostly moderates. They really are.
Yeah.
Anywho, so, we're in this situation where, 42 days to Election Day. How the process works is that the president usually nominates a Supreme Court justice, and then it gets approved by Senate. And until a few years ago, back in, I think it was back in 2012, it used to take 60 senators to approve Supreme Court justices. But Harry Reid and the Senate Democrats got rid of the filibuster for judicial nominations because they're having too much trouble getting those through. Now, in 2016, when Obama was still president, there was a vacancy on the Supreme Court, and he nominated a guy named Merrick Garland to be the next Supreme Court justice. And this was 8 months before the election.
Yep.
And he did that. The Republicans didn't want to do that. So what did they say?
They said it was
What's
too
that?
close to the election.
Yeah, they said, well, we got to wait till the next election.
Yep.
That's the American people need to decide if we want, who we want the next president to be, so they can appoint the next judicial nominee. And the Democrats said, no, you got to do your job. It's just do your job. It's the president is here for 4 years, not 3 years. So if President Obama makes a nomination, you need to take it up. Mitch McConnell and Senate Democrats said, nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen at all. They just sat on it. Which, just backing up for a second, Merrick Garland was a terrible pick who would defer to government power constantly. And Neil Gorsuch, great pick. So far, probably one of the most constitutionally astute Supreme Court justices that we have right now. So that worked out well. But, so 2016, that's the positions that they've all staked out. Democrats say, got to do this now. Can't wait till the election. Got to take this up if the president makes a nomination. Republicans say, no, got to wait till the election. The American people need to have a voice in this. 2020, everyone flips. Everyone forgets all the stuff they said in 2016 and takes the exact opposite position because of different parties in power.
Yep.
So President Trump says, yeah, let's see if we can get this nominee through. I'm still the president. I have a right to make my nominee. And the Senate, because the Republicans have the majority, can take it up if they so choose.
Which
and
they
so
probably
now,
will. It's gonna be
it's looking like
this
they
is
will.
gonna happen.
Yeah. President Trump doesn't want to miss this opportunity to do that, and I think a lot of his voters would expect him to. They're like, why would you just sit on this when you have the opportunity to get a conservative justice on the Supreme Court? And we'll talk about whether or not that's a good thing maybe in the next segment. So now, as the Republicans saying, well, let's just do our job. We have a right and perhaps even a duty to fill this seat. And the Democrats are saying, no, we're too close to the election. We got to wait until the presidential election happens. We want the next president to select it.
Yep.
Everyone flipped.
It's really convenient, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really convenient. And, I talk about this all the time. I talk about how if there is a law, a rule, a regulation in place that you only like for it to apply when your party's in charge, that's bad.
Yeah.
That's bad. If you only like a specific law or rule when your party controls the presidency or controls Congress or the governorship or your state legislature or your county legislature or your town board, that's bad. It's got to go. Because if it's only good when you're in charge, that's a really, really bad thing. For sure.
No, exactly. And that's what I always tell people, whenever we give the government more power or apply a process to something, again, don't just think about, does this apply to me and my team and the people I like? Does this apply to the people who will abuse that process, the people who will use it to gain more power for themselves and to do things that may, hurt you, your rights, and your liberties? This is the argument I was making to Democrats back in 2012 through 2016. Do you really want to, give the executive all this power, all this deference? What if some guy you really hate gets into power and abuses it? Well, sure enough, they got Trump. They're freaking out. If Biden wins, they're going to go right back to concentrating power of the executive. They're going to go right back to their hypocrisy. If in another 4 years, if Biden is president and the same situation happens, everyone's going to flip again. It's and no one besides independent thinkers like us are going to look at this situation and go, what is happening? Why can't our political leaders have any consistency and grounded principles whatsoever? It's just about tribalism. It's nothing else to it. It's empty.
Yeah, and that's just a problem that we're constantly facing here when parties switch over, and they work together to create these situations. Democrats and Republicans, they do the same thing. This is one of the reasons I really, really like term limits. We'll talk about that a little bit more later too. But first we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we're just going to carry on this conversation and talk about this topic. So we'll be back in a moment on Radio Free New York.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
If you're looking to market and grow your business, make new business connections, and give back to the community in a meaningful way, consider joining the Greece Regional Chamber of Commerce. We're the largest suburban chamber in Monroe County, and we offer networking, education, marketing, insurance, and advocacy. You do not need to live or work in Greece to join. Our members come from throughout the region. In short, we're better together, and together, we're moving business forward. Visit greecechamber.org or call 585-227-7272 to join today.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm your host, Andrew Hollister. We have Kevin Wilson with us. We're talking about the Supreme Court. Pretty relevant topic right now. And we've just kind of wrapped up talking about just the general hypocrisy in selecting Supreme Court justices. And Kevin, we've got maybe some solutions or some ideas for solutions as to how to resolve this issue. Ironically, I think it was yesterday, somebody asked me as we were talking about this topic, obviously off air, just in personal conversation. They asked me how Supreme Court justices are selected. Is that something we get to vote for? Is that, who gets to choose that? Does Congress get to choose? Does the president get to choose? And that alone is kind of an interesting topic, the fact that they are essentially selected and then approved. The American people don't quite have direct say in any of this. They have say in terms of an elected president, an elected Congress has say, but it's not something you go to the ballot for example.
No, there's no direct election of the Supreme Court. And honestly, I don't think there should be. I think there should be some distance there because what the Supreme Court is supposed to do, it's not supposed to be conservative and liberal justices, Republican and Democrat justices, even though that's how we talk about it, and that's how people are talking about it in this sense. It's supposed to be people who rule on whether or not, things are constitutional, and going back to Marbury versus Madison, judicial review, and what, they mediate conflicts between states. They are the top core of the land. They're supposed to make sure that the law is being followed. Yeah. That is, whatever the law of Congress is and the supreme law of the land, the U.S. Constitution. That's what they're supposed to do. Now, did they always do that? Nah, probably not.
No, of course not. And I think, too, along those lines, it's not unnatural for people to want their side to be the majority on the Supreme Court. Gun advocates across the country right now are probably drooling about this, thinking maybe a 2A supporting judge or justice will be placed on the Supreme Court to the point where we can overturn things like the SAFE Act and maybe the NFA and a whole bunch of other things. That's a natural thing. Whereas on the other side, there's people with a whole slew of other issues on the left that are very worried, very concerned that their specific policies or things that they think are important to them are going to be ruled as either not important, not constitutional, not a right, and any of these things. So, yeah, people naturally kind of want to have either a conservative justice or a liberal justice or whoever's on their team. That's what they want.
Yeah, to interpret the Constitution in the way that they want it to be interpreted.
Yep.
Now, there's a couple solutions to the current political fight that we're seeing over it right now. And one is the Democratic solution, which is pack the court. Just get a bunch more justices. If Donald Trump appoints a new justice, well, we'll just add more. All right?
Okay.
Now,
stack the deck. Make it big,
exactly.
Make it fluffy,
we're going to have that many.
97 Supreme Court justices.
Exactly.
Appoint one every 2 months.
With life appointments, yeah.
Yep.
No, you're not going to be able to overturn that. Now, we'll say the Constitution doesn't actually specify the number of justices that are on the Supreme Court. It doesn't actually say anything about that. The reason we have 9 right now is because of the Judiciary Act of 1869. Congress established that the Supreme Court would have a Chief Justice and 8 Associate Justices. So that's why we have that 9 number right now. Now, FDR saw this and said, Congress, they set the number of justices on the Supreme Court. So in 1937, he tried to pack the court too, because all of his New Deal stuff kept getting overturned as unconstitutional. Well, court's not agreeing to, your interpretation of the Constitution. Appoint people who will. Make a new majority. That didn't work. So that plan did not get through. And Yeah, so since then, since again the 1860s, we've had 9 justices. Now, I think that's a decent number, right? I don't actually have any issue with that. I think the best way out of this is term limits. So there's a proposal right now to amend the Constitution to constitutionally set the number of justices at 9 and set their terms to one 18-year term. And this does a couple things. One, you don't have people like Ruth Bader Ginsburg was sick for a while.
Yeah.
She stayed in probably like way longer than was appropriate. I know she's trying to do the best she could, but like she probably should have retired a while ago. She was like 87.
Yeah.
But
and
people
I don't think that's uncommon too, especially a justice who is nearing that point in time. But if there's if there's an election coming out, they might hold on longer than they should based on their political beliefs, and that can cause different issues and different problems.
Exactly. So setting at 18 years ends up making it so that, like, one, you don't appoint people who are probably way younger than they should be, too, because there's a lot of incentive to pick someone like that's 40 years old because you know they're going to be on forever.
Sure,
right?
For 40 more years, yeah.
Exactly. So it takes away some of that incentive. Not that you wouldn't necessarily appoint someone because they could be well qualified at that age too.
Sure.
But at an 18-year apportionment, with term limits, each presidential term would get a couple of appointments. So they would be regular. Like, you would know when these terms are going to be up. And you just kind of have that go through regularly. So you're not going to be rolling the dice. Are you going to get 1 appointment, 2 appointments, 4 appointments? How many are you going to get? This makes it regular and predictable.
Now, why 18 years? Do you know why 18? Why not 17? Why not 20, 21?
Well, because then you could stagger them. Because there's 9 justices.
Okay.
Right? And so you stagger the terms every 2 years. Right?
Okay. All right, that makes sense.
So that's the logic behind that.
Okay.
Right? So, you'll
each
get
president would essentially have the opportunity to appoint an equal number of justices per presidential term as any other president.
Exactly. So
and
now
appoint isn't really the correct term, but yeah.
Yeah, right. So they nominate
yeah.
And then the Senate would still have to approve. So at least that part of the process, that kind of, how many appointments are you going to get to make? That's going to be regular and predictable. It gets people out after they've been in for a while. It cycles through the court, so that way you don't have these uneven terms too, where people are in for like 30, 40 years, and then other people who are only in for a couple years. This makes it even, predictable. You might still get more appointments because sometimes people could die in office, or something else could happen, right, where they want to step down. And then it also creates a system too where the justices who step off, they can become like senior justices, and they can either participate in cases where people have to recuse themselves, or serve on the circuit court, which is another way to be able to do that. So I think we need to amend the Constitution, and we need to set term limits for this. I think it's the better solution.
Yeah, I think having a solution that's equal across, any presidential term that doesn't rely on which party you're in, I think is really, really important. And I think that would give the American people a little more clarity, a little more transparency, and they just feel better about the process. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on Radio Free New York. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow.